Hello, everybody. This is Lee Phillips' Journey of Truth. We are at City Hall this afternoon, and we are recording the City Council meeting on this Monday, September the 8th. It is 6:30 p.m., and they're about to get started. I hope that everybody speaks into their microphone tonight so that we can hear everything real good. Acoustics are not very well in this room.
Welcome, everyone. Great to see all the faces in the audience. Thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started with the roll call. Everyone is here as planned, with the exception of Ann Hunsinger, who's out of town. And is there any changes to the agenda, or can we have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Second. We have a so moved and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, aye. Mix it up. Okay, the agenda is approved. We'll move now to Planning and Development Committee. Lisa Newberry.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing we have to talk about tonight is, and decide on, is to give Danny some directions, nothing to vote on tonight on Thursday, but moving forward with the code rewrite, the staff has recommended the top two companies, and Danny's reached out to them and got well on us. It looks like everybody is available to meet on the 18th at 6:30. And I see Robbie is here. Would you like to make a presentation?
Yeah, and basically, as you mentioned, Danny and I are just looking for direction. We need to confirm as quickly as possible the dates to bring these 2 or 3, or if you want to bring all 3, it's completely up to you. The staff recommended 2, but either way, we just need some direction as soon as possible, because we do have people that are their schedule is just as busy as ours, so we do need to kind of get it confirmed and get the ball rolling as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I said the 18th. Yeah, last month we told we didn't need direction that week, was the week all of us would be available. He reached out to the 3 companies, they're all available. 18th is the day that worked out.
Yes, and I'm sorry, the two that were recommended was GNC and Foresight, as well as TPUDC, which is Town Planning and Urban Design Collaborative LLC.
Yes, Danny, and I talked about, he's gonna reach out to the third company, let them know they were number 3, because they may not want to, we don't want them to spend the money to come here if they're not being, up for consideration. But they're welcome to come if they still want to. So the way that the meeting will run is that, we'll start the meeting at 6:30, we'll have a hard stop at 7:30. And what I'd like to do is ask everybody to please send the questions that you have to, Danny and Paul. They're gonna consolidate those, send them back to them, let them get answers in advance. And that way we can stick to our, give each company, approximately 20 minutes to speak, and they'll address your questions. And we'll have a hard stop at 7:30. Everybody good with that? Is everybody good with September 18th? Okay.
First of all, does the council want to do that? Do you need to interview these folks? Be comfortable.
I said last time I didn't know enough to interview. I mean, I'm not an expert in zoning or rezoning or doing any of that, so I wouldn't even know what to ask them. But if people want it, I'll certainly come in and come up with something.
Is the consensus we feel better?
I would feel better, because, like I said the other day, they may present well on paper, and not so much in person, and it's a lot about personalities, this is gonna be a year and a half.
We had the same discussion last month.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, so that's gonna change my opinion.
Okay, and he's talking about, they recommend having 2 people here, 2 groups. Is 2 enough, or you wanna go 3?
Well, like I said, the top 2 are the ones that are for consideration. Number 3 was not up for consideration, so
Right.
we didn't want to ask them to spend the money to come here to make a presentation when.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So 2? Okay. And it's been unavailable on the 18th, we're gonna hunt and do
They're
another.
available.
Everybody has confirmed with me as of today that they were available.
Okay, very good, very good.
So Danny, what else do you need from us? I think you got to go ahead for September 18th at 6.
Yeah, September 18th, so we'll invite these 2 firms to come, and we'll once y'all send us the questions, Paul and I and Robbie will go through the questions, because there may be some repetitive questions. And once we get all the questions back from you all, we'll send them out to you all, and say these are the questions that were submitted by council, and then we'll submit to the firm and ask for the answers prior to the 18th. That way, one firm doesn't know what the other firm says, and then you'll have those questions and the answers back to you for the 18th, and you can interview them. And suggestion was we'll give them a 5 minute to present their firm, and then 20 minutes to talk about the questions or questions you may have for them other than the questions that we submit.
And when do you need questions from us, Steve?
As soon as possible.
So you're saying, we'll give you our questions, you'll send them to them, they're gonna answer them, we're gonna get them back before the 18th?
That's what will be our goal, yes.
So then we'll read those questions so that we would have,
Yeah, because you may have a follow-up to that question,
Right,
maybe,
right.
but if we can just get, a couple questions from you each, not too many, but because, it's only gonna be 20 minutes, but if you can send the questions to us, because you and Lisa may ask the same questions, so Paul and I and Rob will go through them and say, these are the questions that y'all submitted. We'll send them to them, ask for a response prior to 18. It may be that day, but we'll try to get them sooner for y'all. And then that way you may not need to ask that question, you may have another question you want to ask, because time is valuable for all y'all, so.
Yeah. And as chair, this is the way I'd like to handle this, because we've got a lot of work on this ahead of us, and what I don't want to happen is we start out with marathon meetings, because there's a lot of work ahead of us. So let's just get through this, and then as far as, what's the next steps, we'll put that out there, make sure everyone understands, the public understands, there's gonna be public input, a lot of meetings will happen. So this is just the first thing we need to get through.
Okay.
So we can provide our questions to Dan, y'all can work to kind of maybe consolidate them, that's possible, and they can incorporate those questions into their presentation. I guess you mentioned 5 minutes for presentation, I mean, that's pretty tight, you might say 10.
No, 5 minutes introduction,
Yeah.
and then 20 minutes to talk.
Thank you, I misheard that, so that's better, I was a little worried there.
Yeah, if we say 20 minutes, they'll probably turn into 30, but
Well-
definitely a hard stop at 7:30.
Sure.
Okay, still hold for them.
Yeah,
Everybody good with that?
sure.
Okay. All right, and the other thing, Mayor, is, I just need a little grace from, council and mayor. I've had a death in my family, and, got another person who needs me Thursday night. I may not be here, so if I'm not here, it's because of that.
I understand. take care of it.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Lisa?
No, sir, that's all.
Okay. We're moving now to finance, human resources, and I guess Natalie, you're on.
So I'm just here to ask for some budget amendments that we need to clean up the fiscal year 25 before I present the final budget to the auditors. So before you are the ones that we need is 11510 512 100 group insurance. Need to increase it by $57,716.75. Beginning budget was 150, ending budget will be 207, 716.75. 11510 521 200 city attorney by $64,111.45. Beginning budget was 180, we'll increase the budget to 244, 111.45. And 14900 542 200 vehicles, 51,955.36 will be the increase. Beginning with 0, ending will be 51,955.36. First one was insurance, the group insurance, that one was due to the premium increase. It actually affected all budgets, but some budgets had money to move within their departmental level. So that's why you're gonna have all insurances come before you. City attorney was the increase in his fee, plus there was extra work. There were several extra litigations that we had to negotiate, so that pushed that amount up. And then also the vehicles, y'all had approved that, or prior council had approved that in 2023, but considering it's crossing yet another budget, we had to increase that one. The other one, the last one is the SPOS, 321, 3500, 531, 600. Small equipment by $18,789.80. Beginning budget was 0, but that's just because for budgeting purposes, we put all of the money in public safety, and originally it was chosen for public safety buildings, and that's where we budget for it, so 0 was with the amount, and since it had no other amount in it, I gotta be able to move it from one department to another.
Okay. Any questions?
I got a couple. I just wanna make a point of the general fund for the group insurance, that's financial department, right, Natalie?
Yes.
Strictly the financial, not.
1510 is the financial.
Okay. The city attorney, the $64,000 plus increase, was that paid in the previous fiscal year?
Correct.
Did we have a contract, Danny? You had told me before we did not.
No, we don't have a contract.
So I serve at the pleasure of the mayor and council pursuant to your city charter, and then annually I send you a memorandum of understanding that outlines the financial components of that. Or I send it to Danny, excuse me.
I was gonna say, because I have not seen it.
And,
Is that subject to the approval of council when you go up?
I'm sorry, ask that again.
I know not we, I wasn't on council then, but $180,000 was approved, as I understood it at the time, by council to bring you on and pay you $180,000. So if it increases,
Well, just to be clear, you're not paying me, you're paying my firm. It's not just my services, you're getting services my firm.
if it increases, does council need to pay that? You got me paying, to approve that?
Yes, but I think that you do when you approve your budget. Basically, each year before your budget passes, I send a memorandum of understanding as to my fee structure for the year. And I've done that each year since y'all brought me on back in.
But the 60, as I understand it, I could be wrong, the 64,000 wasn't approved because it wasn't in the budget, correct, Ally? Am I understanding this?
I can't speak to the budget versus what I was paying, but.
I was asking that.
Sure.
So we didn't know it until right now.
In his, what did you call it? What did you call
It's
it?
an MOU.
Yes, in that, he specifies that any outside cost due to litigation that he has to work or anything like that, He details that that will be separate from his monthly fee.
I think my question though, and I might not be making myself clear, is did council approve that?
Well, can I speak to that?
Sure.
The way I feel about that is usually the issues that's covered by the 64-111 are issues that we spoke about in executive session. And I don't know that we say, oh, we're okay to spend $64,111, but we approved him to move forward with certain litigation. Am I understanding that correctly? That's the way I feel about it. I understand we didn't get an itemized bill and we didn't know how much it was gonna be, but when we say, yeah, we wanna fight that, or we wanna.
Well, I'm not fighting it, I just.
Oh, no, I'm not right, I'm talking about whatever the
procedures
case would be that he's.
Yeah, and just to be clear, here, I don't know what the expenses are, I'll be happy to look at them, but also, just so you know, I don't know exactly how they account for it, but there's also outside counsel that we utilize that may not be covered by insurance defense, so that could be some. There are, I know that in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of real estate work we've done, that includes survey fees and closing fees and the like, so I'm happy to outline what that differential is for you, if you'd like to, but I can tell you that anything that we bill you is in accordance with the terms of what our MOU is with the city. But there is no contract per se, because I serve at the pleasure of mayor and council. Y'all could make a vote right now, and 4 of y'all could terminate my services or my firm's services tonight. So there's never really a contract for a city attorney, because it's always y'all's decision as to how long I serve in this capacity.
So this was brought before the council, this when we went from Malcolm. This the firm went from Malcolm, what it was, to Rosebell Wright. It was talked about in the city council meeting. The reason was not in the budget, because the budget was already advertised. That letter came on May 15th, which the budget was already been advertised. We can't change it once it's advertised. So that 64,000, 36,000 was the increase. The rest is other legal services, from lawsuits, land closings, those natures, the printing documents off, that's where the money comes from.
I just think possibly in the future, if it works, even though we talk about it in executive session, we approve dollars up here all the time. I just think it would be nice to have a statement of some kind, subject to approval, or just to see.
I do believe in executive session, we do approve that. He'll give us a number, it's gonna be approximately X amount of dollars, and we tell him, yes, we wanna move forward or not.
Yeah, but that's just speculation. I think we need to find a tab. That's just big, just because I think I like to see it.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna calculate a lawsuit, because I don't know what insurance company, because they will pick the firm. Usually it's Cruiser and Mitchell, but it could be someone else. But if it's, I can't really talk about it because it's executive session stuff. But as you all know, when we talk, those firms, different fees. So we can give you a ballpark, I think. Well, maybe Paul can, but as far as
Well, just when it's paid, that's not, this year, let's say this happens, when it's paid, if we could just give a memorandum or something with the exact dollar figure. Is that asking too much, or out of bounds, or?
no, when we pay it, we can let you know when the case is closed. We can let you know what the final cost was.
Okay,
Is that what you're asking?
yeah,
Okay.
just instead of speculation in the executive session.
But that's with the understanding the money's already been spent at that point in time.
Yeah, but, we make the staff, the employees submit invoices for what they want to us to approve, so this works all the way across, I think, that's the way I see it. So, thank you. That's it, thanks.
Okay. Do we have a motion on the budget amendments?
I will make a note too, that this does not let y'all know, this is only on a departmental level, this is not a fund level. The fund itself is not over budget. General fund is not over budget. We do not exceed our expenses over our revenues, I just want y'all to make sure that everybody knows that, it's just on a departmental level.
Got a crowd here tonight.
The consent.
We hadn't had a motion yet. All right, we're good on consent.
Uh-huh, Sam.
We're gonna make a motion, Bill. Oh, we don't need a motion for that? All right, that's on consent. Okay. Very good. Anything else? Okay. Moving down to Public Safety Committee, Melanie Long.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I ask Chief to come up and discuss the new software, I want to recognize we've had Officers Tina Harmon and Montrell Calhoun. Back on August 23rd, 25, they assisted someone in cardiac arrest. They used the AED and they CPR till they could get the ambulances there. And Chief recognized them and gave them the Chief's coin, and I want to recognize them because I want people to know that our police officers aren't just out there looking for speeders and things like that. They are on the first ones to respond, and they're out there saving lives literally, so I appreciate them. And Chief, I want to get you to talk a little bit about the Gray Key software,
Yes, ma'am.
if you will, so if anybody has any questions.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The only thing I have for you tonight is a request to purchase a software package through the company. It's called Gray Key, and it allows us to, or it will allow us to analyze, download, crack cellular phones as necessary. Right now, we do not have the ability to do that in-house. We're having to send it out. We have had to go as far as Augusta to the GPI's Technology Center down there to get this done. I can't sit here and tell you I understand exactly how it does it because I don't. I just know that it does. And Gray Key, we did quite a bit of research, my detectives did, to determine what was the best software package. And they came up with Gray Key. This system requires to my mind, a pretty significant computer that Technology Director Kyle McKenzie worked with us on to put together a package and review it. Because of the sensitive material that will be downloaded, such as child sexual abuse material and stored on this computer for prosecution, it cannot be linked to our city network. And Kyle actually already had everything that we needed. It requires a standalone connection to the fiber and everything, and it's actually already present in our building. It's just going to require some rerouting, but he already had it set up for us. This will be a purchase out of our federal forfeiture funds, out of computer equipment, and the total cost will be $29,310.
How often do you anticipate that we'll have to use this product?
It's hard to say exact, but on average, probably 20 times a year.
And is there any fee for updating this? How often, how long is the warranty?
It's an annual renewal, that, it depends on that, in the quote that you have, it does include training, and they have, as they update, their software, the initial training to certify somebody to operate this is relatively expensive, as you can see, it's well over $6,000. They do releases, and there's a lot of video tutorials and things like that that will cost anything. If they do a complete update, then we will probably have to do that $6,000 training, make sure our person is certified. And we have a very technologically savvy young detective that will be doing that training. And this will all be set up in CID and secured behind two doors and all of that because of orders and things like this.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Questions?
Chief, for the benefit of the audience, why don't you mention where the money forfeiture fund comes from?
So we have a detective that is assigned to a DA investigative group in Atlanta. There are, I don't even know how many different local and state agencies, police departments, sheriff's offices, the GBI, the Georgia State Patrol, Department of Corrections. Everybody sends, local officers to these task forces. It can be DEA, FBI, ICE, U.S. Marshals, all of these. Ours is at the DEA. And when we participate, when he participates in a particular case, in most of those cases, not only are they seizing drugs that were on the local level, we generally measure drug seizures in ounces and pounds. They quite often measured in metric tons. But they also seize assets, and assets can be obviously cash, bank accounts, certificates of deposit, jewelry, vehicles, real estate, anything that they can show that was purchased with drug. And that money is then forfeited under the federal system. And once that takes place, then we get a share. It varies. We usually are going, for most of the time that we've had somebody up there, we average right around 6% of what we get back. Now, with the officer that is up there now, he has already been a co-case agent and is currently a case agent on a very significant case. And those that preceded him never made that status. Now, the difference that makes, if he's the case agent, instead of 6%, we get the same share as DEA, which is 20%. So it will make a significant difference. Currently, well, I just checked this the other day, Friday morning actually, that's pending. That doesn't mean that's what we will get, but it's currently pending that our detective has been responsible for waiting to process it, is just shy of $1.9 million that we will get a share of. We certainly work drug cases in the city. We are very unlikely to get a share of $1.9 million. And everything that they're doing, virtually 100% of the cases that all of the DEA groups in Atlanta are working are all cartel related. Atlanta is one of the largest drug hubs in the United States. It's for a lot of reasons. Of course, we have the world's busiest airport, we have a seaport in Savannah, and if you look at the interstate highway system, several significant, most of them come right through the middle of Georgia. So it is a significant drug hub. And, you know, I have been asked, well, that's great for Atlanta, what about here? Well, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. And you don't make a dent in the drug trade an ounce at a time. You make a dent in the drug trade in the hundreds of thousands of pounds at a time. And that's what he's doing. He's making a very significant dent in the drug trade.
We okay to put that money in the general fund, don't we?
No, sir. No, that you can't. The Department of Justice has pretty, I won't say pretty, some very specific rules about how it can be used, how it can be spent. That money has to be used by federal law to supplement our budget, not supplant our budget. So in other words, it's to be used to do and purchase things, whether it's equipment, vehicles, training, whatever it may be, that we otherwise might not be able to do. And all of these things that we've done, since we've had officers assigned up there, we have spent close to $1.3 million that has come back that didn't come out of everybody's pockets. Came out of drug dealers' pockets, and I like that a lot better.
And we all bought a police car with it?
We bought 17 police cars.
It's good.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Are y'all okay with consent on that one? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Melvin. We'll move now to Public Utilities Transportation Committee. Bill DeVault.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two items on the agenda tonight. The first one is for the treatment plant. The electrical junction boxes, on the influence side, pump station, were installed in 1999. They've just worn out, as listed by the city. Then we're gonna replace these. It's a line item, 4,300, and item that it is $19,900 for the replacement. They did get a quote, multiple quotes, and they used the quotes from Russell Hatcher, and they have used them before. And they're good. Questions on it? Yep, can I take care of it? Like the town consent?
Consent agenda, everyone? Okay.
All right. So the second one on the agenda is stormwater repair in Ashton. There's an emergency repair that came up last week, so you all are probably familiar with Ashton Manor, the detention pond down there that we worked on in the past, but there's also this storm drain that goes under the road. Now, unlike the Breckenridge that we had a couple years ago, where the community was cut off while we repaired it. Luckily, this case, they did have a route around it, but it's still a big inconvenience, and the city jumped on it. The repairs they've got the line replaced at this point. I think the only thing left is basically pavement over it. Is that right, Danny?
Correct.
And so they've had the work was done by Matthew Development Corp. And Lay Pay Professionals. The fund is coming from the 4320 522-205, and Danny went ahead and included a 5% contingency in here just in case we punch list this thing out. So the cost that you see is $78,645. Any questions on that?
I just have, consent is fine, but how many of these systems, Danny, do we have that were put out or input in 1990 or thereabouts? Do you know?
Just about all of the subdivisions built in was used corrugated metal pipe. Just about every one of them. So now it's a requirement you have to use rigid concrete pipe. We changed the ordinance back in 2017, 2018. If it goes under a road, it has to be in concrete pipe.
So it would not do us any good to be proactive on this? We just wait till something?
No, we've inspected them. This was inspected. We've been watching this.
Oh, okay.
We did, we just did 5 top projects for stormwater that y'all approved end of last year, I believe. And those other 5 were worse. It's just something. The pipe didn't fail. It's the grout inside the inlet structure that we think failed. So the pipe, when we TV'd it was okay, but the grout, this was an active stream. Most of them are an active stream. This had an active stream going through it, so this will more than likely be now our next party project. To replace the entire subdivision.
Basically, the water was not flowing through it well, like it should. It was going to flow under it and around it, and cause a piping effect.
So this is something unusual, is what I'm hearing.
Well,
Somewhat unusual.
well, no, it's unusual. It is a mechanism for failure to be specified,
Okay.
but, it's happening.
Thank goodness it wasn't another Breckenridge. How much did I go down? Ballpark, 800,000. 800,000. It has to be done.
So, would like to put this on consent?
Consent? Okay.
Thank you, and with that, I have no items.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Moving now to Public Works Facilities Committee. Patty Wolf.
That's me. Tonight, we're gonna discuss the, something I passed it on my mind for some reason. The health department has a lease renewal coming up. These 4 ladies right here are from the health department. I've been working primarily with Sherry Trader, who's right here on the end. And honey, I forgot what you told me.
Lori Tanner, I'm the nursing clinical director.
Okay, Lori Tanner.
That live here.
And live here. Okay, I know Sherry does too. And then Sarah Peck, she and I have been emailing back and forth. And then Emily is the financial guru. She's here to keep me in line. And she and I have been emailing back and forth too, and she's been they all have been quite helpful. So I wanna make sure that's said, because they have given me everything I asked for, and gone double time in some cases to even narrow it down and get it even better. So I do appreciate that. They've not tried to, we've all been kind of upfront with each other as to what this was all about, so I think we've had a good working relationship. So I just wanted to get that out there before I got started. They have decided to go last. They got the short straw. They actually wanted me to present my information, and then they wanted to come back and present theirs. But anytime during the presentations of either one of us, feel free to stop and ask questions if there's something that's getting you hung up, or I'm not making any sense, or whatever. I'm playing wrong. Just we're just trying to kind of keep it concise and to the point, because it can get often never land if we're not careful. I decided for my presentation to use strictly the numbers. I was talking to Sherry about that today, because if you don't, you can get into the emotions of this, and sometimes you don't get your best decisions when you're making those decisions based on emotions. I went back and reviewed the tape from 2000, what was it, 23? You were the one that did it now. Was it 23? 3 years ago, 23. When it came up for renewal then, and it got, well, maybe they couldn't afford it, and the people have to come, and it got off in subjects that really didn't have anything to do with a business, and we are a business. So I'm trying to keep it strictly with the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. They don't tell, the numbers are emotional, so that's it. But that doesn't mean you can't have questions about other things. That's just me trying to do that. Let's see, I've got some notes on. Last year, the senior citizen building was used as if we do that, then we'll have to do this with the senior citizens, kind of like a back and forth tit for tat kind of thing. In my personal opinion, the senior citizen has nothing to do with this conversation, because it's a separate entity, it's a separate building, it's a separate function. I did not research the senior citizen building, so I have no reason to discuss it tonight, and I have no reason to use it as a comparison, that if they pay rent, that means the senior citizen building has to pay rent. They may have to, but I think it needs to be researched separately and dealt with separately. And I'm glad to do it. I just didn't do it for this presentation. I wanted to make sure that was known, because last time it got way off on the senior citizen building, and I couldn't quite figure out why. The law states that each county, and the Northeast District handles 10 correct counties. Each county gets one rent-paid facility by that county. The one that they get now is in Monroe, and Walton County is responsible for that. When I say Walton County, we're all Walton County, but that's specifically Walton County is responsible for that one. What we're dealing with tonight is the Loganville subsidiary. I don't know what to call the Loganville subsidiary work.
It's a satellite.
Satellite, that's better. Okay, that's what we're dealing with tonight. But they are required to one free, so that, in case y'all didn't know the law on that, they are required. And so Walton County gets them that one, and it's in Monroe, across the street from I guess the jail's still currently up and running, but it's across the street from the jail. The old jail is what I still call it. Okay, I want to give you a little background on how they got to where they are. And chime in if I don't. I'm just trying to do like an overview. In 1995, the county asked y'all, the health department, to come and work on the upper level of the police department building, correct? Tom Burke, yes, And then in 2017, the police, department got too crowded, so they wanted that second floor. So because the city was leaving the old city hall, as we call it, moving here, they suggested y'all take that building. And that's how that all came about. That happened about 218 is when you did your renovations. And they went in and they put sinks in every, room for examination rooms, and you painted and you redid the floor. Am I missing anything?
It was a complete renovation.
Okay. It looks nice, if y'all haven't been on the tour, it looks very nice. And then on top of that, they allow the city, us, to use it, during, events. We get to use their restrooms, and probably people go in and sit in those chairs and whatnot. So, they are very open to that, and they've been very nice to let us use it. Is that the only privilege we have? Do we have another privilege that I'm not aware of? That kind of covers it? Okay, didn't wanna miss that one.
Patty, while you're looking through that, did your research also show that legally they have to be in Monroe? That's required by the state and the county seat. That's not the case in Logan. Is that true?
That is correct. Georgia Code 3139 does require each county, all 159 counties to, 57 counties to, that requires each county to provide a building, in good condition and maintained in good condition in each county, and, it is in the county seat.
Is that required, the county seat part?
I actually have not.
I believe this.
Do you see that is, okay. Yeah, that could be, I'm not familiar with that, I've never had a county who has it in any other place than a county seat. But we have other locations that have more than one clinic as well.
And previously, just to fill in a little bit, the county owned the building that our police department is in. If I'm not mistaken, that's where you will house there.
The county offered that building to us, and then when they wanted it back, the city offered us.
They wanted y'all to come here. I mean, it was,
Well,
Yes,
yeah,
to
they
maintain a
Well,
clinic.
The county gave us the building, is that right, Danny?
Yes,
So,
that,
it was-
that, right, that was part of the whole discussion. They wanted to maintain, public health presence here in Loganville.
There was disproportionate growth in the county because of the county that frankly needed services. Good evening, I'm Sherry. And the reason we were moved here by the county, in the county-owned building at the time, was due to disproportionate growth of Walton County being so close to Gwinnett County. And yes, you're correct, ma'am. The county did own that building, and then you all annexed it and were gifted that, and I don't know what year that happened.
Okay, that's good. And I believe, Danny, did the county also give us the senior center building? The county building previously? Okay, please.
yeah, it's still, I guess, since they gave it to us, we own that. I don't know anything beyond that as far as, like I say, I didn't get into that at all, so. Next is the lease. You'll see the lease, I think, coming up in your packet next. As I read the lease, I think we have three things we need to resolve. One is whether we want them to remain in the city, because there's a statement in here, it is beneficial for the citizens of the city of Loganville to have public health services and related activities. So I think we need to decide that. And I think, correct me, Sherry, if I'm wrong, but didn't Dr. Coggins, who is the head honcho, just came off of, is it paternity leave? Paternity leave, so he's kind of backlogged. But, anyway, he indicated you wanted a 5-year lease, right? Do you remember him saying that? Okay, that's all right. I think he said y'all preferred a 5-year, which makes sense since you were.
We do prefer 5 years.
Okay, okay.
Generally do 5 and 10-year leases.
So the staff has recommended 3 years. And this says it's year to year at the bottom of the first page here, number 2. So I think we need to come up with the number of years we want the lease to run. And then we need to determine if we think they should pay rent. So, which is the most important thing, I would imagine, for all of us, and I think one kind of leads to the other. If you should pay rent and you're willing to pay rent, then obviously we still want you in the city. I mean, you know what I'm saying, it's not something that's gonna require necessarily 3 votes, it's just something we've got to discuss and kind of package it together. So those are the things I read, on the lease. The lease is basically the same thing as the older lease, which is, they don't pay rent. The only thing I think that changed, the major thing is the utilities. You had to start paying utilities with this.
Utilities, and we also handle all the repair and maintenance of the building.
Okay, and the utilities, Sherry told me, last year were $28,000.
I think that was electric alone.
Okay, it was a lot, but then, and we discussed this, I said, but most rental places pay their utilities, so that's not something I even looked at, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but, all the other places, whether we pay rent or have gratis rent, though, we do not pay repair and maintenance.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But
that's
typically on a lease, I'm
Not
sure
even
everybody's been in a
mine.
lease, when you have a lease, generally, the landlord is responsible for repairs and maintenance of the building.
not even minor,
I'm sorry.
not even minor repairs, I'm sorry.
No, I call our landlords for everything
Okay,
where
okay.
I have a rental agreement, I'm paying market
Okay.
price.
So that's a difference, and I don't know that I even got that figure. It seems like we talked about it, but I don't know if I got that figure.
How much we paid for repair and maintenance?
I'll say last year, do you know right off?
Yeah, well, it's been 20,000, the term of this lease, that total here was, I had added this up earlier now. 6,900 so far this fiscal year.
Okay.
20,000 since the lease
I
began.
know the HVAC has been a problem.
Yeah, that was the triad, that was the largest one.
Down in Derry, I love it. Do you have a total on you down in Derry?
I did not tell
Hold on, I do have it.
It's the 28,000 plus.
Plus, it was about
Six- 6,000.
6,500, yeah.
Okay, so that's-
6,500 this fiscal
Okay,
year.
okay.
Again, about 20,000, since March 2023.
Would you feel, comfortable, because I do, with discounting those utilities and not even considering them, because most rentals pay their own utilities, to my knowledge?
I would agree with that. The city did offer to cover them the first year.
Okay,
First
so
lease
we'll just
period.
deal with the 6,000 as
I
an
would agree.
additional
Repair and
expense.
maintenance is the larger item that is typically always handled by a landlord.
Okay, got that, all right. So those are the 3 things I think we kind of need to, discuss and come up with an agreement on what we're gonna do. The next page, I decided to deal with the patients, the number of patients they saw, as opposed to the number of times they saw those patients. Because I'm comparing population, to determine, the significance of what they do and that sort of thing. And the only way to do that is to look at the patients, the number of patients that come to your facility. Not how many times they come, but the number of patients that come, the number of individuals that come. And I've got that, you broke that out for me. Total individuals served, I may be saying that's the number I'm looking for. 3,040, based on the worksheet I got, I know there were some changes, but I think we did.
That's what you do.
Okay, I think we determined that this was good after our conversation, okay. 3,040 patients you saw in local clinic fiscal year July 24 to June 25. In other words, our most current data.
Maybe can I interject there?
Sure.
So when I read this, the total number of people that they served were 3,040. 1,382 of those were just WIC participants. It was actually 1,658 actual people that sought, HIV testing, child health, and things like that. That makes a big difference to me, because you could put a WIC office in City Hall and let people come pick up. I mean, well, I'm trying to
I think
understand
the
why they
city-
need a whole big building.
I
to run
think,
around.
well, you're kind of jumping the gun on me. If you
Okay, I'm sorry, you didn't jump in if I wanted to clarify something.
Yeah, I just, sit tight. You can
Okay.
ask it again if I don't let you. Okay, so that in Loganville, they saw 3,040 patients. The reason I'm using the WIC though, Melanie, since you said that, is their patients. They still come in, they have to come in once every 3 months and go through what they're required to go through to get their WIC, is it one vouchers?
Yeah, they have to meet with a nutritionist.
So,
and
yeah,
that sort of thing.
so they are patients in that sense. At least I think they are. Now, whether or not they need to come to the health center, that's a conversation we can have later on. I mean, once I get through with the financial aspects, okay? They serve 3,040 in Loganville. And if you take the Loganville population, divide that out, that is 4%. They have served 4% of the Loganville population.
I'm gonna dispute you there, not necessarily because of their total living in Walton County is only 68%. So even, that means 32% of the people they see come from other counties, not necessarily from Loganville. Because that 3,040 number is for everybody, but if you'll look at where they come from, they're not coming from Loganville. They're coming, 68% come from Walton County, the other 32% are coming from other counties.
Where are you getting that? Cause up here it says 30052 zip codes, and then it says Walton County and Walton County, so how do you know they're coming? Although they probably are. How do you
It's on
know?
the paper you did.
So I just do wanna
It's right
clarify.
there. The percent residing in Walton County.
But that's Walton County.
Right. So
I mean, you're saying they're coming from other
only
counties.
64% are coming from the zip codes. You're counting 100% of these coming from the 30052. Only 64 are coming from.
I'm counting our population and dividing it by the people they saw.
So
Now you're confusing me, Melanie. You got me off my game.
I
I'm
do,
sorry.
I do wanna just clarify some of those numbers.
Please do.
Okay, yes, so of the 1,658 patients that were not WIC clients, and the reason those numbers are broken out separately is because WIC client data is stored in a separate system from other health department client data, and those systems don't talk to each other. So we have to pull those numbers separately, and we cannot deduplicate fully from there. So what we've done here is tried to show our work, how we determine those client numbers. And so we are able to determine the county of residence and the zip code of residence for our clients that are receiving services other than WIC. And of those, 64% were from the Loganville zip code. And 68% were from Walton counties generally. And so you are correct in that we do have out of county folks using it, but that the majority of people using health department services are not only Walton County residents, but specifically Loganville residents using the Loganville clinic.
But even Walton, at least the way I see it, I may be off base on this, the Walton County residents are more than free to come to this health department because you handle Walton County as a whole, right?
Anyone may visit
I mean, you're not
any health
separating, oh,
department.
you gotta go to Monroe because you live thus and such.
Anyone may visit any health department in the state. Oftentimes, people may visit the health department that's convenient to their work, if they wanna run and get a flu shot at lunch or something like that. So it's not uncommon at all, for people to utilize a health department, maybe closer to their work, or closer, take their mother to the one closer to her home, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of variability, because we are here to serve the public regardless of where you reside. We don't want to see lines, that's a barrier to healthcare.
Okay.
One other question too, as I recall, when we was doing this contract 8 years ago, I guess almost 8, was it part of the deal that you were required to bring WIC to Loganville?
Yes, the growth, again, WIC is a USDA program. They have very strict requirements over where a WIC services can be provided. That's why they are routinely in the health departments, because we are already meeting those WIC standards for USDA.
When you was out at the building on Tom Brewer, you did not offer WIC.
That is correct. We were in the second story. That was not even gonna be allowed to be a WIC place there too. Just all the requirements for WIC facilities.
So Patty, if I understand right, your first question you need to know from us is, do we want the health department to stay in Louisville? Is anyone out here not want the health department here?
If they're willing to pay rent, but I'm not looking to put them in that building for free a third lease term.
Okay, so maybe we can focus on that. And the second question, you need to know, if we were okay with a 3-year lease. Is anyone okay, not okay with a 3-year lease? I'm gonna say it's in here, as long as it's got a 90-day termination, I think that would be suffice.
3 years, 90
days,
Yeah.
that's
And collect rent.
months.
So can we focus on talking about paying rent? What's the issue there?
The last time we negotiated, when we went to the 3 years, you remember, because there was some questions about them not paying rent. So we settled a 3-year contract to let that mull over for a while. And if they want a 5-year contract and a 5-year contract's available, I don't know why we would do what we're gonna do for 5 years.
I agree, because it's got a 90-day termination
90-day
clause.
Well, as long as they're gonna pay a fair amount of rent,
What do you suggest for rent?
$12,000 a month.
And how do you justify that?
This is my presentation,
Yes, ma'am.
and if you have, I think right now you're trying to lead the presentation, which if you've got a question, particular question about something I am presenting at that time, feel free to ask. But right now, it would seem to me, you're trying to tell me how to proceed with my presentation, and now you're asking the questions, is okay, how much rent do y'all think? And I take a little offense to that, 'cause I
Well, yeah, and I'm not trying to offend you in any way, I'm just trying to get this conversation going. We're here to talk about a contract, and there's a lot of information that I think maybe we should have been included in the research, so we could have been prepared for tonight.
included in my research.
Uh,
You got this, and, you know, I had my computations all written out, and that was changed to where, you know, all the computations were taken off. So I don't know what other research you're talking about. What other research? I'm dealing strictly with the numbers on this form. And I think I sent everybody an email, speaking of research, and told you that these forms might be confusing, but I would, you know, go through my computations, because at that point, I've got the original present package, and it has all the computations showed.
Sure, I agree, and then we have a contract in front of us, so what's on the agenda is the contract, and it just seems like we're going into a very deep dive. Can I have some support here?
Yeah, I think we're getting way too into the weeds on this. Obviously, you know, I'm a commercial landlord as well, so, you know, I just wanna see the numbers, I wanna see the lease, I wanna see what's actually here to discuss. And if we agree on these 3 questions that you asked, that's what we should pertain to.
So what do y'all wanna pay for rent, then, go for it.
I don't think I'm prepared to say that tonight, because I have no idea what this building cost. I mean, we're gonna need some guidance on this. You know, I don't, I can justify $12,000 a month.
Would you like for me to continue then and give you the figures I've got? Okay, the rent, because I'm skipping over the amount per patient and that sort of thing, although I do think that's important, but I will skip over that. The rent is on in your package, it's the real small print, and it says up on the left-hand corner, rent summary. And you'll see that up at the top, the district offices, the county offices are coming down, the left column, and no rent's being paid. Then you'll see on down where they start paying rent. The last 3 years, it was thought that they couldn't pay rent because they wouldn't be making enough money. So that's why you went to the 0 rent. That's why y'all approved the 0 rent. So I think you can see by this chart, I hope anyway, it's kind of small print, that they have in fact been paying rent to other places. So that's my main point. I wanted to make that point. They can have and should, as far as I'm concerned, pay rent. But what I did was pull some rental property off the internet, local, like the dentist office on 78, and another doctor's office. The average rent was around $20 per square foot. But if you look on these pages, or this page, on the far right, the health department is 9,700 square feet, give or take. So I decided to use the figure of the last building that's 10,000 square feet. It was the one closest to the building in question, which is the health department across the way. And that rent is about $10,000 a month. You can see it right there. I hope can y'all see it? Okay. That's the monthly rent they're paying as I interpret this chart. Any issue with my interpretation?
Yeah, that's not a health department, but that is.
But you're paying rent.
That's not a health, well, yes. Public health does do services besides providing health department services. So we do have to have some commercial buildings for some of our other operations that
Right.
we do.
The point I think was last time they were saying that, they weren't led to believe that there was just no data.
I do want to make it clear, each of the 10 counties in the Northeast Health District is a separate legal entity run by its own Board of Health. The Walton County Board of Health is responsible for healthcare in Walton County. We cannot mix and say, well, if one county Board of Health has more fiscal resources that they could pay, they cannot pay for another, county. So I just want to be clear, Walton County Board of Health does not pay for any other rental. The rentals you see here, as you can see, who they are, rented by, they are not Walton County.
But Walton County could. They are government. Either Walton County or state, your government facility, in other words, the money can come.
Looking at this, the main health departments, as we know, are required under OCGA 3139. You see, we have 4 secondary health departments in this district. None of them, those are all provided by the city or the counties that they reside in at no charge as secondary health departments. The county recognize, or the counties and cities recognize the need for the additional clinics in some locations. The third category down here are our environmental health offices. Environmental health is often located within a health department, but we have in 4 counties, we do have standalone environmental health offices. Now, environmental health by its nature is a little different from regular health department services. These are fees that are paid for restaurants, septic tanks, those sort of things, swimming pool inspections. And we do have just 2 locations that pay for standalone environmental health offices. They are a little different than a health department, right, in that they are intended to be used by businesses. But even in that case, we do have standalone environmental health offices that the counties provide as a service to us. And then lastly, the last category, which is where we do pay some rent, are for our program offices. For example, we have our district office where 3 of the 4 of us work. For example, our health director. No county, the state pays for part of that. We pay for part of that locally. We do have some teen centers that we do have family planning funds that we use to pay small amounts of rent there. And then the largest one, the one you refer to, includes our emergency operations center. That is not a healthcare facility, and we receive state funding to pay for a building for our emergency operations center. So again, it's ultimately state funded, although it's passed through us. So I do want to make it clear, although we do pay some rent, we do not pay any rent for health department locations, and that is not, in our model. I know, Ms. Wolf, you asked us to come with our amount. We are not. We would.
You have no amount.
We have no amount. That is right. We collect some fees. We are legislatively funded, and that's where we stand. We are here to provide health care for everyone in the community, and community's participation is greatly appreciated in that as well, to be here for, for them.
Could you not get funding? Are you saying right here now that?
We do not have any ability to request additional funding from the state or the county. I mean, we could. This is not the climate where we're requesting additional funding. In that way, we are very appreciative of what we receive, and we do try to be very frugal with our money. Right? If we pay rent, then we're going to be getting more money from someone somewhere, so it does all come back. So, but we are here to provide services. We provide all the staff. Counties and cities do not pay for any of our staff. The state pays for all the staff, excuse me, along with some county and some fees that we, that we generate. But that's the message from Dr. Goggins, that we are.
How many counties have duplicate health centers? I mean, if Walton County didn't have a health department, this would be a different conversation, but we have a full service health department in Monroe. How many other counties throughout the state of Georgia have 2 full health departments in their county?
I don't know exactly how many. Multiple counties have many health departments as well. The larger ones.
Like it's Fulton County, for example.
Fulton County and DeKalb must have 8 or 10, for example. We do have, we do have 4 basically here. 3 counties, 4 locations here in our district and our 10 counties that have satellites.
Well, based on your comment that you serve the people, I don't doubt that at all. It's the amount. And I'm going back to what I had started on earlier. You serve 4% of our citizens, just based strictly on the math. I mean, the population versus the total patients that you see. You serve 4% of our population. And if you flip over to your financial statements, your salaries alone for Walton County, I think this is just Walton County, are $2,213,138 salaries.
About 75% of our budget for all our locations are salaries because we provide services. We don't sell a product, we provide medical services.
Your expenses are $3,053,000, and you have a long-term pension liability of over $2 million. To serve I'm going back to serve 4% of our population. That comes out, I was shocked when I did the math on it. That comes out to $83,275 per patient. What I did was take your expenses and divide them. I actually divided them by the total patients in both Walton and Monroe. And it's $83,275. They look confused. I'm gonna stop talking about y'all.
I would have to look at those numbers. I'm sorry, but that doesn't, how many patients? Well, I think we also need to look not at patients when we're talking about serving people, but number of visits, because if I go to the doctor 3 times, that's 3 costs to the doctor, not just 1 as a patient.
Right, but we're trying to determine at least the easiest way to me is we're trying to determine the benefit to the city of Loganville. And that would be patients. Not how many times they come see you, but patients that say,
if you need to go to the health department 4 times, you're going to want, for a series of shots, that would be 4 times, 1 time and go cut it. So it is important when somebody needs to return to the health department that we recognize that that's part of the service. It's not the number of people. If you need to go in once a month to be checked for something, that's 12 visits. I'm sorry, it is just 12 visits.
Well, that's not germane, I don't think, it's just, I'm just trying to build the case.
Well, you're right, it's not, but here
Um,
we are offering,
But
a service.
the average rent, let me, since you say you're not willing to pay anything, the average rent, Melanie's pretty much right on. It's about 10,000 a month, and that's a figure. If I use the $20 per square feet, it would be, as you can imagine, a lot.
Yeah, you can see the program offices there, we're paying probably low market, as a government tenant, we are not skipping town or anything. But I will point out that for all our actual health departments, those would be the main health departments and secondary health departments, we do not pay any rent in this district for health department locations. Or satellites, both primary and secondary satellite locations, we do not pay any rent.
This is at the council, for me, that you're paying rent to some people somewhere.
Not for health
Yeah, but
departments.
I'm not necessarily pinpointing health department, I'm talking about the fact that you are paying rent for other buildings. For us to give that building to you, it's a well over $1 million value building. I don't, and we're only helping 4% of the population. I'm having difficulty making that connection. But that's just me, y'all speak up, you got comments.
Well, 3 years ago when we wrote this one, I wanted rent then and offered 5,000, like, just give me something. Because I did the math, and had we been charging rent for the 5 years they were in there at a fair market value, this building we're sitting in would be paid for. We're business. This is a business, the city is a business, it should be run like a business. And again, like I said, if Walton County didn't have a health department, it would be a whole other conversation. And again, when 32% of the people are coming from other counties to come here, those other counties aren't kicking in to help us with our building that's, I'm gonna ask that they pay rent, and a three-year contract at a fair market rent. What was your third question? I don't remember what your third question. Do we wanna see a health department here?
Right.
To me, as long as they're paying rent, they're welcome to stay.
And if they're not paying rent.
That would be their choice. If they say they can't pay rent, that is their choice. We give them a fair amount of time to relocate or whatever they need to do, but if they can't pay, if we're the business. My landlord just came to me the other day, he said my taxes went up 19.55%. I'm gonna raise your rent. You think I'm just gonna go, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pay the rent. What is he gonna do? He's gonna kick me out. A business is a business, and I understand that this is a government business and there's people that are not wanting to step on toes. We have a health department.
Well, and then the Loganville citizens are paying state taxes, federal taxes, city taxes, and in addition, adding a health department on top of it. Now, if the Walton County wants it here, I'm fine to let them pay the rent. That's just the way I kind of see this, because the citizens could be getting probably a minimum of $100,000 a year renting that facility right over there, or using it in our revitalization. So I'm just having a little difficulty doing no rent, because I think that's not fair to our citizens who pay taxes to have the free one up in Walton County, because they pay those taxes. And then just the city of Loganville is paying for this health department. Nobody's chipping in to help us do that. No other entity, no other county, no other city, no other anybody. That's on the backs of the Loganville residents. So,
I totally disagree with that.
okay.
We are in a business, we're in a people business. A lot of these people are not gonna get services unless it's provided. They're in a lower economic scale, we all know that. We would be less of a city if we didn't have this facility to take care of our most needy citizens. That's just the facts of life. If you wanna charge rent,
I have I'm sorry, Skip.
go ahead.
Would Monroe's location be big enough for y'all all have to relocate there, because if we charge y'all rent, y'all would all have to go there, would the location be big enough for y'all to go in their office?
No,
That's what I was-
we
so y'all
would just
couldn't
not have
handle-
another
She couldn't
location.
handle the 3,000 they have plus 3,000 more.
No,
at that location.
they're full up there. Yeah, we're very
So
full up.
it's,
And the other thing is,
so
I
we're going to
wonder,
be turning away people, sick people that cannot afford.
Well, sick people don't go there, this is STDs, it's IUDs, it's
Some
birth
people who
control.
aren't immunized that can then get us sick if we're not. Let me word it that way, however else.
Yeah, preventative services
Preventative
is what we do.
services.
Right.
That's
I just-
right.
Well, I want people to realize, because I asked y'all last time if it was during COVID, I said, so if I have COVID and I show up, you said, well, we'd make sure you were stable, we'd put you outside and call an ambulance, because we don't treat sick people.
We don't do acute care, we are
Right.
not a
So I just
hospital.
wanna make sure people understand what the health department actually does, because most people don't understand what it does. And it's more preventative, it's your vaccinations, it's your WIC program, it's your contraception, it's things like that.
But it protects the entire community when this 4%, if you want to even say it's 4%, is treated preventatively, that then protects the rest of the community from getting sick.
What about, I had this thought, and I don't know how, appropriate it is, but because of the cost factor of all of this, why would you not give vouchers to these individuals to go to one of the many clinics around the city, and be treated there and get shots or whatever they need there? I think it would probably overall be less expensive, and you're getting the same result. You're helping people that need help, but you're not using a facility, of the magnitude of this one. And I thought that's an option, at least I see it as an option.
I would suspect that would cost more,
Why?
because this facility is built to handle the situations that they find. And those urgent cares and those other offices are not. They're developed to raise money for the insurance companies. It's just the way it is. I wonder, just in my mind, how many people of these 3,064 without the health department would be pushed into homelessness? I don't know the answer, but I'm sure there'd be some.
One doesn't have anything to do with the other, I don't think.
Why not? People,
Well, any more questions, concerns? I think y'all wanted to present.
Have one more piece of what we do, and so just, here's any new caregivers to cover what services we do provide. Because it does keep us community safe and get back out.
Yeah, talking to Martin.
Yes, Sarah is going to present, the services that we do provide, but we're also here to keep the community safe when you have an outbreak of measles, you have an outbreak of tuberculosis, patients getting released from your local hospitals that live in your community, meningitis. There's just multiple things that we do, that not sure that the whole council is aware of, so we do want to present that part.
And I do remember back in the pandemic, you guys were big, providing a lot of services here.
We did, even though we couldn't treat COVID, we were testing for COVID and we were the preventative piece for
Yes.
offering vaccinations. So there are other things that we do in order to keep the community safe, and not just who shows up in the health department. We partner with the schools when they have an outbreak, of an infectious disease. And so there are multiple things, and we make referrals when we see kids for vaccinations. And we know that that parent does not have insurance, but yet that child may have asthma. We have asthma clinics to refer those children to, that are in Athens. So we do a lot of other services too, so we'll turn it over to Sarah.
Yes, we did just want to share, it seems like this is it's not on.
Just pull it down, there you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay. In the interest of time, I'm gonna move very quickly through this. I know this has been an in-depth conversation, but to familiarize the community and also the council members with health department clinic services, because that does seem to be of interest, we have presented them here. Immunizations is one of our key services. We do provide all the required school immunizations. This is a critical service for children to be able to attend school, to prevent outbreaks, and to keep the community safe, as noted. We also provide required immigration immunizations. Sorry, that one. There we go. As well as respiratory, the COVID, flu vaccines, other infectious diseases, as well as some that cause cancer. So some of these vaccinations also reduce risk of cancer. Provide pneumonia, shingles vaccines, HPV, hepatitis A and B, and Mpox vaccines. We provide screenings that are also required for school children to attend school, the hearing, vision, and dental screenings and scoliosis screenings. We can provide cardiovascular screenings and tuberculosis testing and treatment. Health department clinics are the primary provider of tuberculosis testing and treatment in the area. All of those vaccines that are listed up there are the recommended childhood immunizations, and that first list are required for school attendance. We do provide all of these at the health department clinic. The WIC program is one of our primary programs, one of our biggest programs. This provides care to individuals that are pregnant or who have children up to 5 years of age, where they are issued benefits to get supplemental food. They can redeem these vouchers at local grocery stores for healthy foods. But in addition to that, they receive nutrition education from nutritionists on site. They receive referrals for community services, and also get breastfeeding support, education, and peer counseling. Breastfeeding, also very critical for child development. We offer a variety of women's health and reproductive health services that include breast and cervical cancer screenings, things like physical exams, breast exams, referrals for mammograms. We also help women apply for Medicaid if they do need additional care. So if they needed breast or cervical cancer care, that they would be able to get that covered. Reproductive health services, as noted, include birth control and family planning, but also pregnancy testing, assistance with pregnancy Medicaid applications, again, so that individuals get the prenatal care that is so important for child development. We also do STI testing and treatment, and HIV testing, as well as PrEP, which is HIV prevention. That's a medication that actually prevents HIV. We have a hypertension program where we can do monitoring and medication and management for high blood pressure. And we can refer to our child health programs, and these are at no cost to participants, where we can screen children under the age of 5 for developmental delays or other chronic conditions, and connect them to services before they start school so that they are not delayed when they start school. Additionally, we have more specialized care through our children's medical services. This serves children more broadly up to age 21 that have specific medical conditions. We can coordinate specialty care for them. Also do early hearing detection, so if there's hearing loss in a child, identifying and treating that early so that we can support their language and social development. And we do community outreach as well. We have health educators that can speak in the community on a variety of topics, can be present at the schools and teach there. We provide HIV testing, counseling, and linkage to care in the community, and assist people with getting access to PrEP, that HIV prevention piece. We also have a new program that's a perinatal home visiting program that's coming to Walton County. And this provides home visits to individuals that are pregnant or have recently had a child, to identify things like postpartum depression, or while they're pregnant if they have high blood pressure. We can assist them with that by having a nurse come out to their home and do the visit. This is very helpful for people that lack transportation and have other barriers to care. So we did want to just specify what our services are that we are offering. There's some more information in those packets that I just handed out that supplements what Councilmember Wolf provided you already. So in addition to the individual served, it also includes the visit information, because as Emily was specifying, that is something where we typically see patients more than once. It's not just a one and done. And so if you look at, the number of individuals served, approximately 3,000 at the Loganville location, but that was over 7,000 visits to the clinic. There's information in that package as well that compares the number to our Monroe clinic. So if you want to compare those numbers, that's in there for you to review as well. Any questions?
I have a question. It just went through my mind as you're making your presentation. Do you see any, like I could walk in and have all these services, or do you have to be low income, or how does all that work?
Different programs have different eligibility requirements, and some do have income requirements, and some are available regardless of income.
We do not deny services if someone does not have the ability to pay. We want, our goal is for people to get the preventative treatments that they need.
Thank you, that's a critical point.
Any questions? Thank you very much. That was informative. I have a question. Are y'all ready to vote? The reason I'm gonna ask if you're ready to vote tonight is because Lisa's may not be here on Thursday, and Ann, we know, is not gonna be here. And I don't know if we can we poll vote tonight if we want? And these four ladies don't have to come back.
You can. You vote anytime.
If y'all wanna do, if you wanna take a vote, you can take a vote this evening.
Do y'all feel comfortable, doing that?
Or what's your motion gonna
That's
be?
exactly right.
I mean,
What's your motion?
My motion's gonna be, I move that they pay $10,000 a month in rent,
and how long of a contract?
3 years.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
That's two, all opposed?
Nay.
3-2. So that's voted down, do we have another motion?
I make a motion that we approve the contract as written for the health department.
With 0 rent, right?
As is written, 3 years, 90 days.
Well, it's written, actually, I think, Brandon, that after this it goes year to year, so you wanna keep the 3 years and take that sentence out of the.
I think he's saying
And then we can discuss it.
he'd like to continue the same contract for 3 more years. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what the contract is, we like to do.
I'd like to do a 3-year contract with a 90-day clause. If I get a second, I wanna explain why the 3 years.
I'll second that.
Why not more, because we are revitalizing downtown, and I know you already have a lot of money invested into that building from all the grant funding and stuff that y'all have done to transform that building. I know that building leaks like a sieve, and if y'all weren't in there to keep it from being soaked in moisture, it would be a mold problem, if not worse. That building was just designed, that atrium was a nightmare back then.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, it looks good, until it rains.
It has a water feature.
Yes.
It's a water feature.
So I was like, any landlord
I
would
love
be,
that water.
cause there's been like probably 4 or 5 fixes that the city is trying to do, and y'all trying to do, and it just will not fix. But do I see long-term viability of the health department being in downtown Louisville, the best for Louisville? Probably not. But for the next 3 years, I don't see us using that building. I would rather y'all be there to keep the community as a whole safe. I would hate it. I know, like my girls, they can get, like their shots and everything. I know some kids can't because they're allergic to it, stuff like that. So they need to have the herd mentality. They need to be protected. So I do understand what y'all do. I think y'all being here, we need to keep the city as safe as we can. So.
Yeah, and I just wanna say, paying like, you guys have very valid points, I get it, I do get it. If we could get rent, that would be better. In the situation, they don't pay rent, so the rent's really not an option. And I don't think that anybody, I don't wanna cut any services to the citizens, and yes, people outside of our city use it. But at the end of the day, they're still human beings, they're still single moms that can't afford to go to the doctor and get a mammogram. They can come here, maybe they work here, and they've got convenience of coming here, but at the end of the day, they're still human beings, and this is a service. It's not, I would look at it as an expense, it's a service, just like our public safety, police, fire, public works. You know, it's a service that we provide, and I don't want to see us cut a service if we don't have to, and, you know, I appreciate y'all's opinion, it's very valid, but I'm glad to see that we did not put this out.
Good point, Lisa, and even for 2023, my position's still the same. I really support you in what the mission is. It is a government resource and that we have. It's a valuable resource, and being able to share that with you is a good thing for our city.
And before you take a vote, can I just get clarification? The motion was for a 3-year term with a 90-day out with no rent, basically the same agreement they have now. But just to make clear, and that 3-year term is to begin on expiration of the existing term, which is February 28th, 2026. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. We'll just make sure we get that correct in the motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
No, we never called it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, it passes 3-2. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies. Thank y'all. Thank you. It took a while, but I appreciate you studying and coming, for that matter, and all your help gathering the information. Thank you.
Anything else, Pat? Anything else?
Oh, yes, I do have the trash, report. The trash report total litter picked up, was 215 pounds, and the chipping report, total stocks 451, and total tons 17.5. Great job, Jeremy and team. Again.
Anything else, Pat?
That's it. Thank you, Skip.
Thank you. Moving now to economic development, Brandon Whitfield.
Thank you, Skip. We got 2 people that want to serve the citizens on the Downtown Development Authority. And the recommendation is to appoint Joanne Barrett and David King to serve the remainder of unexpired terms, including April 2028.
I did have a question about that.
Yes.
You know, the night that the original DDA was formed and you pulled numbers, years out of my hat. So you're saying, because this would be, let's see, so when Jamie left, then Terry Parsons took his place. And what's his term of expiration? And then Dana and then Irene left, and they had different things. I just wanna make sure that they're terminating on the right dates.
Is that, I don't believe that's on that. I think that's what they would choose, or do we nominate for the
No,
office that we want them to fill?
I don't have the list in front of us, but all the original appointees have been appointed to staggered terms.
Right.
And so the vacant positions, they will be fulfilling the remainder of those pre-existing.
Right, but are we sure that they're April 28th? That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know the answer
So
to
I'd
that.
like to leave those dates out till we can
Okay.
break it, yeah, that's all.
Just read the recommendation,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I would think that Danny has checked that, but I don't know.
Okay.
You gotta fulfill the unexpired term
Correct.
of the.
But I was double checking that.
But we don't, do we have to pick that like Joanne takes
Well, no.
Jamie's turn?
Yes.
That's what I thought, so.
Yes, you're selecting someone to fulfill
Terry
someone's.
Parsons took Jamie's turn because he was the first one to be, remember? So that would be Terry Parsons. So then you have Dana was the next one to leave. And I think Joanne turned in her application before David, so I guess she would take Dana's. And then you have David King, who filled out one after Joanne, so he would take Irenetta's.
Both of the terms per Danny expire.
Okay, I just want to double check that, okay. You know when Terry Parsons will roll? What'd you say?
His is 2026.
2026.
We intend to, swear David King in on Thursday, is what his plan was. And then we'll do Joanne, who's out of town, I suppose, at their next DDA meeting. So,
That's all.
you know what, look out.
However you want to swear, let's get works for me. Do Chris, are you still here back there? Would you mind telling us about what's upcoming here in the city of Loganville for our events?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So Thursday, September the 25th, we have our annual public safety night on the town green. We will be teaming up with our local fire station and police department, and we will have a band, Funky Booster. I know you've heard of him, which is Dustin Peterson. He's one of our police officers. His band will be there for entertainment. We'll have bounce houses, a free slice of pizza to the first 100 people there. So it'll be a fun night on our town green and a dunk tank. So come and join us. And then, well, let me back up. Next Friday is our Groovin' on the Green concert with Departure of the Journey Tribute Band, 7:30 p.m. on the town green. And then the following Thursday is the public safety night. And so then also in October, we have our fall festival, Saturday, October the 18th. We already have over 200 vendors signed up, and we still are accepting applications through Friday. It's gonna be a fun day. Thank you.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Christie, can I ask you a question? I know last year the public safety day got rained out. Do we have if it's raining?
We
do
do not have a date in mind, but I'm sure I can get with, Dick and we'll get the.
Okay, thank you.
What's the date, the actual date on the public safety?
The 25th.
25th.
Okay, anything up front?
If anyone else needs to know the dates, I believe we have these cards available. There might be some right there in the back, so grab one if you wanna have any more dates. So you know, oh, they're right there on the table, right there by Greg. That's all I have there, thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move to Dan, City Manager's Report, Danny Roberts.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I got a couple items. First, this is more of an FYI. We are working with the Whataburger Development Group to potentially upgrade that little cut-through street behind the gas station. We originally, the council approved Kecklenwood to design it back in 2018, 2019.
Kyle, pull it up on the map.
Yeah, thank you. Pull it up. Just like intersection was on 81, 78. Behind the marathon. I'll wait till he pulls that up. I know nobody has issues with traffic in Loganville, but I figured I'd just let you know this. So, for those that don't remember, this was something we looked at in 2019, 2018. That intersection, that road behind the gas station, we were in talks with the current landowner at the time. At the time, he hired a law firm to stop us from upgrading that intersection. He said it was his road, we said it was ours. But this was something done back in, God knows how long ago. But everything that we found from the 60s showed it was a road. It's always been a road. It was called Lover's Lane at one time, we found that out. But since then, the Whataburger Group has bought this whole track. We know it's a road. GDOT has unofficially said it is a city road, so they have interest into partnering with the city of Loganville to complete this upgrade. Currently, it's not required for them to do this upgrade for the development, but they are required to upgrade Leeburg Road. They're putting in a turning lane and a decel lane for their development. But they asked me several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, about would we still be interested. I answered for you all. I said I think they would be. But of course, they would have to go back to the city council for approval for the amount. This is going to be in the several hundreds of thousands of dollars to upgrade this intersection. It's potentially going to put a three-way stop sign at Leeburg and Old South Cemetery, and it'll have a out onto Signate, a right turn only. We're working with GDOT now to get what's called a GUPS permit, I believe is the name of it, to see if they would support this project. And so we are looking to partner with this developer to, we haven't, I said 50-50, but they said 75-25, but I said 50-50, so that's where we left it at. But we think we can do it under the state required for us bid. Anything over 250,000 has to be publicly bidded, so we think we can come under that and just partner with this. Is this an interest that you all have? Because there is some work that I had Kecklenwood had to update the plans, and we've already paid for all the plans. But I did have to update right away because it has changed since they bought the property, and that was $14,000 we just spent for them to update the plans. But Is this something y'all think you would like to see?
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
You said a three-way stop, you don't mean a four-way stop? Cause you,
No, it
or are
can-
you cutting off that piece, that road, is that what you're doing, is you're cutting that off?
So at Lee Bird and, Old Zion, you cannot have a
Right.
stop sign coming from 78 because it would queue up in the 78 traffic and people would get hit. So if you're coming off 78 going north on Lee Bird, you would not stop it, everybody else would. The biggest thing, the relief we're gonna see, what we found in our traffic counts was during school, the buses, kids that come out of the back parking lot, they cut through the doctor's office, you know, they cut through now through,
You've already used it as a cover.
yeah, it's, the car wash. So this is something that I, think that our engineers are highly supportive of. Bill and I have been talking about it great in detail. So I think this is something that you all would like to do. We've already spent the money on the plan. It's a design ready plan. It was put on the shelf. Of course, there will have to be some tweaks because now Whataburger wants to have an entrance course off of that side street to enter their complex. But that's the reason they're looking to potentially pay some of the money as well.
So you're basically looking at taking the road behind the gas station, making it a real road? So that
Yes,
you
a
can
paved
come,
road.
so after you stopped at Old Zion Cemetery in Lee Bird, you'd come straight across, will that be a right only?
So initially it was, if you come out the gas station right there and turn right on going back towards Newburgh, it was a two-way, but to the left it would be a one-way going towards 78. So you would not be able to make a right off 78 into that road, it would be
Okay.
one-way only. The point is to get the traffic from
Right.
Old Zion on the 78, because that's where the traffic wants to go is westbound on 78.
Okay.
So that's something I think, we're all about trying to find ways to help the traffic. And this could be it sounds like a lot of money, but we were prepared to do this whole project ourselves in 2019. Now hopefully we'll negotiate, but we'll try to get the best deal, but hopefully, we can do 50-50. And I'm leveraging the money we've already spent on the design with Kecklewood, so.
You said 200 to
250 is, the state law says anything over 250,000 has to be publicly bidded because we're a government entity, so we would have to publicly bid it out. But if it's below that, then we can go with their contractor, as long as they're GDOT certified and everything, we can let
you're
them.
talking about the total price of the project, not just our
Our portion would be less, hopefully less than 250,000.
Okay.
So is this something y'all would like to see?
In District Two,
Yes.
I think back in 2019 or so, we were zoning, the parcels right there, on Old Zion, that was, community came and talked to us, Danny Ford even stood up there and talked to us at that time about, talked about this particular intersection and the improvement. That's where we spun off and tried to look at these operational improvements. It's just a better way that we're not taking the full burden of it, so, I certainly like to support it.
I'll continue course.
The only reason that was not done then was because a property owner would not give us a few feet of right of way to allow us to build that. And I think it was a hate affair with the city at one time, regardless. And we thought it was a great idea, and I think it's more important now than it was then.
More traffic, for sure.
More traffic.
Okay, I'll continue working on that. So tonight, I don't really have much for you, General. I am going to, let you all know that we have, made some official appointments, to the city council, to the city. First, I'm gonna introduce, Ansley Pope. She has, been given the opportunity to become the HR director upon Christy Ash's retirement. Christy is not with us tonight, she's on vacation, running her time, so, which is good. So, I'm gonna read this something about Ansley, so bear with me. So I'm pleased to introduce Ansley Pope, who brings over 7 years of HR experience with the city of Louisville, with a strong background in employee relations, policy development, workforce planning, and benefits administration. Ansley has played a key role in supporting both employees and management within the HR department. She was the assistant, if you didn't know. As assistant HR director, she implemented several initiatives to improve efficiency and increase employee engagement. Currently, she is pursuing her HR management certification through the Georgia Local Government Personnel Association, and she has already obtained her city clerk certification from Carl Vinson Institute. Ansley is committed to the city of Louisville, the workplace, values communication, respect, and personal growth. She looks forward to working closely with the city leadership, staff, council, and to build a strong and thriving workforce. Outside of work, Ansley enjoys spending time with her family. She and her husband Keith, raise your hand. Keith has been married for 24 years, congratulations, and they're proud parents and grandparents. Before moving, Keith served as an executive director for the largest homeless shelter in Augusta, where the family gained valuable experience in community. This experience gave Ansley a deeper understanding of the challenges people face throughout their lives. And she carries those lessons with her every day, trust me, at work, because we always debate employees, so her job is to stand up for them, so that's what she does, a great job. Ansley decided to bring her passion for service and experience to her new role and looks forward to contributing to the city's success. Ansley Pope, congratulations.
Andy, this is a salary job, isn't
He's been salary for a while, Mayor.
it? I understand. That means home time just going
Just
away.
makes more salary.
She does,
Home time, going away.
now she gets phone calls from me, where she didn't as an employee, but now as a director, she gets phone calls in the middle of the night, because when you all call me, that's who I'm gonna start calling, so. We'll get pictures, if Mayor, if you would allow me, they may want some pictures. Angela's very, she loves to speak publicly, but I'm not gonna make her tonight, so. But her husband, Keith's over there, and, I'll let her, you wanna introduce your family?
My husband is.
She's gonna be so mad at me tomorrow.
My husband is in the red. My youngest is Brant. I have a daughter that is gonna be 29 this year, 2 grandbabies. And then my dad, Herb, right here, and my mom, Debbie.
Very good. Glad to have you with us.
And Herb is a long-serving captain of the Walton County Fire Department. I worked with Herb when I was in the fire department, so he's been there, how long? How many years? 27? Congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Need to make it lively now. Had too serious a conversation earlier, so here we go. So, as you all know, I opened up the position for assistant city manager. The only assistant city manager we've ever had in Logan's history was me back when Bill Jones promoted me back in 15, 16, something like that. And when he left, I became city manager, and of course y'all approved that in 2017, but have not had an assistant since. But the job has gotten more in depth, more, say busy is an understatement. So the need for an assistant was strong. We've been able to put in this budget. So we had over 40-something applicants apply, and we interviewed 5 candidates, and we made a decision several weeks ago, and I'm gonna read you his bio. Jeff Smith is with us. He's in the front here. Raise your hand, Mr. Jeff. So Jeff Smith has lived in Gwinnett County for over 50 years. He went to the school, public school in Gwinnett County, and has made Gwinnett his home. He has deep family roots in community dating back to the early 1800s. Jeff began his career in public service in 1988, following his father's footsteps as a police officer. Jeff worked for the Gwinnett County Sheriff, Carroll County Sheriff before joining Marshville Police Department in 1989. Jeff has spent over 33 years with Marshville Police, retiring as a captain. Jeff has held every captain position in Marshville Police, 3 branches, administrative, operations, and training, I believe was the other one, correct? He is held captain all 3 of those divisions. During his time with Marshville Police, Jeff went to back to school with a promise he made his mom to get his education. He has a little bit, almost as much education as I do. I'm gonna go ahead and read you his. He completed his degree in mathematics. He has a business administration. He has a master's in public administration. He has a doctoral in emergency management. So I got him 2 more classes signed up, and he'll be on his way. With his education, Jeff has taught at several colleges and universities, following his mother's footsteps as an educator. Jeff has taught at Gwinnett College, Georgia State University, Troy State University, Texas A&M International. He taught both graduate and undergraduate courses in criminal justice and emergency management. He has been a speaker for several organizations. He is also an author. He has wrote several magazines and journals, and he is currently has a book out, co-authored in text on policing. After retiring from Marshville Police, Jeff was selected to be the Director of Operations for the Gwinnett County Solicitor's General Office. In that capacity, he oversaw budget, grants, contracts, administration of many functions of the office. They had a little over 100 employees, if that one department in Gwinnett County. And then another little fun fact that's coming up Wednesday, I believe. Thursday, September 11th, Jeff will be honored by the Southern Criminal Justice Association as the Criminal Justice Professional of the Year. The last person in Georgia to be honored with that was the former GBI director, Vernon Kean. Although most of his work experience was in law enforcement and criminal justice, his strengths were in communication, leadership, planning, administration. He was well known in Gwinnett County, having graduated from Leadership Gwinnett, mentoring other classes since his graduation. He's been active in the community all his life, and he looks forward to his new opportunity here with us. So with that, I'd like to present Jeff Smith, Assistant City Manager. His wife is equally as smart. He says smart. She's an author as well.
Oh, that's a given, she's
It is a
smart.
given.
Yeah.
So,
Danny, when you and I talked, wasn't he the only applicant that said he didn't need a salary?
no, I'm not, Mayor, I don't want him to quit before he even starts, so. His official start date will be next Monday. I'm sure you all will welcome him.
Congratulations.
So after tonight, he's going
Great city.
to a conference to teach and to be given this award that he is, so earned. So with that, you have any questions for me?
Why Loganville?
You got to come up here.
I'll just put that bluntly, but with all your list.
Somebody asked Jeff, where is Loganville, and this is effort to find out
And
what
that's where
it
he
is.
ended up. Gotcha.
When I was a young man, this is where I came to buy suits with my parents. I grew up in the actually the Five Forks community, but we started off in the Snellville area. I love the area. I really look forward to everything that's happening in Loganville. I'm following along, and I know that things are going on, sometimes with a little pain. You wanna be careful, and cautious in some of the things that are going on. You wanna make sure that you're doing things wisely, and, quite frankly, it's an excellent opportunity. It allows me to utilize my education, my skills that I've built over my career. Quite frankly, I couldn't be more excited.
Good.
Danny mentioned my wife. She is much smarter than I am. You were correct on that, Ms. Wolf. And she's an author and stuff in her own right. In fact, she's got a new novel that just came out, so I'm awfully proud of her. So
Good.
we're looking forward. My wife and I, are both looking forward to being part of this community as the assistant city manager and contributing and working with the community and the council and seeing great things happen in Loganville.
I congratulate the citizens, somebody congratulated you, but I think we're the ones getting the catch. Yeah.
I agree.
I think we done good. Jamie did good.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Danny, I do have one thing, you and I discussed it last week, about the Cooksey Family Cemetery at the Walgreens. I had a citizen reach out and talk about what poor condition that cemetery is in. It's the one behind Walgreens with the water tower. And actually, we have a Civil War veteran buried there. He's actually the highest ranking Civil War veteran in the entire county, and he's buried there. And I don't feel like that cemetery is getting the respect it deserves. And the citizen reached out. We've talked to Walgreens. They say the city owns the land. I know the cemetery was relocated. The city gave a permit to relocate that. The city, as far as we know, does not own that. And I asked Danny, and he said I would have to kind of have a consensus from council if we could pursue contacting Walgreens. And one of two things, either they're held to their original contract that said they would maintain that, or if they want to donate that little bitty, I think it's like 8x8 or 10x10 to the city, therefore always ensuring that that property is properly maintained and given the respect it deserves. And in the meantime, there is a group of citizens that are gonna get together soon. We're gonna go up there. We have permission from Walgreens to go ahead and take care of that. But are y'all okay with Danny pursuing? He said we'd have to like do a record search and then possibly a survey and some other things. I just wanna make sure y'all are okay with that before he pursues that.
If we can legally accept it, which I think would be a question.
Yeah, I'll get with, our fabulous attorney over here to do he's the one that's gonna do all the work. I'll handle the survey, but I'll let him handle the title search, and just confirm what we have paperwork to say that when they move that cemetery through the state, it says that the cemetery would still remain on the same property, which will be Walgreens, so, we'll have to get an easement, I imagine, easement to access it, and then probably donate that land. But yeah, we'll just need, well, actually, Paul needs your permission to start that process.
And we need a lock on it, so we've got keys to it.
I'm taking care of that.
Good for you.
I'm taking care of that. I already have permission from all parties involved.
And I think the goal is for us to take care of like we do the other cemeteries.
Yeah,
correct?
that would be it, and if you didn't, then, you know, we can see if the historical society wanted to take care of it, but, yeah, that you would. I just think it's something that's important to the community.
It's probably what, 14 by 14 maybe?
It's not even, it's very small.
Very
Yeah, and
small.
if you go back and look at the pictures, when Walgreens first did do that, how amazing it was. There was nothing. Now you go over there, you can't even find it. You have to look for it.
It's trees.
And
How
so
many
we're gonna
graves
cut all
down
that.
there, do you know?
7.
7?
Mhm. Yeah.
And did you find out what that stack in there is for?
Well, that's a water tower.
They stack up brick.
Yeah, it's granite. It was a water tower is what I'm being told. It was a water tower back in the day.
It could be a fireplace.
I was told it was a water tower.
You right. Okay, anything else, Dan?
So in his Walgreens, somebody talked to them already that
Well, just to the store. I didn't wanna start, I'm just a council member. I was gonna have Danny reach out to corporate, but you know, that property's changed hands 5 times. I'm sure the people that own it now have no idea they're supposed to be keeping that up. And when we went up there and talked to them, they're like, knock yourself out, cause we're not gonna take care of it. I'm like, but you have to. But they're not going to, unless we made them, but if they're not going to, then they should just donate that little bitty postage stamp to the city and let it be taken care of properly.
Yeah, they did gift us some land back in 2021, maybe it was that 0.19 acres across the street. They could have thought that it was part of that, but it was not. We have the legal description of that, it's just that little triangle piece. So then maybe that's where the confusion is, but yeah, we'll find it in the title search or follow up.
Thank you, and thank you, Paul.
Okay, now we'll move to Paul, City Attorney Paul Rosenbaum.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 4 things before you tonight. These are all things that you've either seen before or heard from me on. So the first is just administrative cleanup to your alcohol ordinance on some details about where the registered agent may reside. Just asking for your adoption of that change to section 4.8 sub G of your code of ordinances relative to your alcohol ordinance. Be happy to answer any questions you may have on that, but that is just an administrative cleanup.
And they have to be a registered agent either in Gwinnett or Walton County.
That's correct.
As I read. Is that normal?
It is normal, given that y'all are a split county. That's the reason why there was an error when we first said it. It just said the city, and it really needs to be Walton and Gwinnett. So it is to clean up your ordinance.
I thought you might have some attorneys in New York County, I think. Okay. Next.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The next is your noise ordinance. I know you all asked for this, and we did a deep dive, and we feel like we've got this in a state that will satisfy y'all's needs and concerns, and also still meet with constitutional. We'll pass the constitutional smell test as it relates to some content-based First Amendment claims. And so you'll see there at the end of your updated noise ordinance, we've added a section that focuses in just on the school buses and the garbage trucks that can be related to, that are related to government service providing. And so the school buses and the garbage trucks have a provision for 6 to 10 versus everything else is 7 to 10. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, but that is your cleanup of your noise ordinance based upon your request of addressing the issue of garbage trucks and school buses.
Thank you for doing that, because you know, I had a concern with that about all the hooting and yelling that was
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
occur at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I noticed in each of these that you struck through, particularly between hours of 10 and 7, between hours, you struck through that. Is that because paragraph A and paragraph B defines the actual time.
Correct.
So
That's
you,
the
there was
plan.
just a redundancy and you just struck through
Just to
that.
make it cleaner, that's
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
So your regular hours are 10 to 7, and the school bus and garbage trucks are 10 to 6.
And then the downtown overlay is from whatever to
Goes
11?
to 11,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, are we expecting a vote on Thursday?
Yes, so on all of these, they're ready for votes. So you can either consent agenda, I guess I didn't address that on the alcohol ordinance, you can consent agenda any of these forward, or if you want to take individual votes on them, you can take individual votes on them. That's totally up to you guys.
Okay, the alcohol ordinance consent? Consent? Okay. Noise ordinance consent? Consent? And just for information for the residents, that noise ordinance is going to allow our people that do not trash pickup to not buy a new truck that they were gonna have to buy at a cost of what, $400,000? And they can do 100 homes between 6 and 7, and it keeps them using just the trucks they've got. And for that, they have agreed not to raise our residential rates for 2 years in the law.
24 months, yes, sir.
24 months. So, and we have a very good service for the money we pay. But where else in the world can you get 4 and some months 5 trips by a large truck to come to your house for $20? Not each trip, 4 or 5 trips for $20. Quite deal. Okay, thank you. Now we'll go to the next one.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The next one is the IGA for operations of the library. I know we've been on the library for a long time. This is the last agreement in the series of agreements we've entered into. And the primary purposes of this agreement, as we discussed, is really just to memorialize everything that we've already memorialized in prior IGAs, but specifically to comply with bond conditions of the money that y'all got for this building that's being built, that y'all own, the $3.9 million and change, memorializes a 20-year term on the agreement and spells out how the city will provide the services that it's regularly provided. The city and the county will both provide the annual funding that they've regularly provided to the extent the funds are available. And the library will continue to operate a library for the benefit of the community. So that is your IGA for your operations, and it is ready for adoption. The county has already approved it, and the school board has already approved it. I'm sorry, library board. Sorry.
Everybody
For 2 hours.
Consent agenda?
No, because I'm gonna continue my history of voting against the library, because I'd rather be on that one.
I do have a question. I noticed it when I read it again this weekend. That additional million, or I think it was 900,000 they got later on, it's not in here. Does it need to be in here? Does it
No, ma'am.
matter?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have anything to do with the operations. That additional money, is money that they're putting into the hopper that, goes towards the cost of the library, but it has no bearing on the reality of their occupation of the library for the next 20 years.
Okay.
Okay, we'll vote on that Thursday, Paul.
Okay.
Okay, next.
And the last one is a peddler's license cleanup that, we put together for y'all since, our discussion last month of y'all wanting a food truck ordinance. So I've met with staff has met with all staff, Danny's met with all staff, and they're working on that. And so here's sort of the short version. I laid this out in an email to you guys, that this is a temporary fix to this issue of food service providers in the city of Logan. This is not a food truck ordinance. Why don't you have a food truck ordinance in front of you tonight? Because I don't think staff is ready for y'all to have one, because they got to figure out where, how, structure. It'll come as no surprise to you that your city manager, as a former fire chief, has mentioned the hood more times than I care to think when I was trying to get a food truck ordinance in place. So, not all of your food truck ordinances necessarily are that focused on fire safety. I suspect and imagine that the ultimate ordinance that you pass here in the city of Loganville will be. So we've got to work with staff to figure out who's on first, what's on second, who's in charge of administering this food truck ordinance, where, hours, and all that. In the interim, to assist with staff, particularly code enforcement and public safety, who seem to be getting an inordinate amount of calls about who is and who isn't allowed to operate various sundry selling of wares within the city of Loganville. We provided you an update to your peddler's license ordinance that we think will address this as a good stopgap measure. And it basically says that if you're selling food, you have to first provide the city, before being issued a peddler's license through the city, you have to first provide the city with your MFSC or MFSU license from the Department of Environmental Health, who was just here earlier. Their other division. You have to provide that Department of Environmental Health, MFSE or MFSU, to the city to be able to be issued a peddler's license for the selling of ready-to-eat food. It additionally also adds one additional clarification that the peddler's licenses for that type of sale, for food sales, needs to be in a non-residentially zoned area. That's not a perfect fix to your zoning ordinance problem that staff has, but it is a good enough temporary fix. And staff has direction to know that they can get a peddler's license for food service if they're in a non-residentially zoned area, and as part of the application, they provide proof that they are already approved by the Department of Environmental Health. And the biggie that I'll just highlight for you, even if they have a food truck, I just want to go ahead and put that out there. Most of them don't have the appropriate licensure that they're supposed to have. So when y'all get the calls of why can't I have my food truck there, it's because they aren't following what Georgia law requires for food trucks to operate in the state of Georgia. Because all we're doing is saying, if you're gonna sell here, we wanna see your Department of Environmental Health permit for that food truck first, and then we'll issue a peddler's license.
So,
These trucks,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Most of these trucks tend to be weekends. Who is going to monitor if they have permits or don't have permits?
That's a staff question.
So the police would go out there and enforce it. The issue is the police is having is there's nothing in the ordinance that says they can't come. They need something tangible that says, this is where it says you can't do it. And that's why the urgency is to have this approved by Thursday.
Okay.
So they can enforce it. That goes for tents too.
So when they're there Saturday, the police will go and.
Microphone. They're telling you to talk.
Oh, I did, I turned it off, cause I thought I was through talking, I should have known better. So, when they're there on Saturday and Sunday, the police will be asking to see permits, or, you know who I'm talking about, he's been there every weekend since.
Yes,
we
the police
said-
department.
Chief's gonna answer
that
you.
would,
Oh, chief.
go out and enforce it.
And so while he's walking up to the microphone, so this right here is a quick, just a, like you said, the stopgap or whatever. So this is gonna account for the people in the parking lots with tents and food trucks as well until we write the food truck ordinance? Or is this only for the tent vendors?
This modifies your peddler's license permit to state that if you're selling ready-to-eat foods, which is defined under Georgia law by the Department of Environmental Health, that you, in order to get the peddler's license, you have to show the city your MFSC or MFSU license first, or they won't issue you that peddler's license. And so therefore, to go all the way to answer your question, is if police are riding around and they see someone selling food and they ask for the peddler's license, if they don't have it, then the police then have the ability, or code enforcement has the ability to issue a citation for selling wares or food in the city limits without a peddler's license.
Okay. All right, Chief, you wanna address?
Just to answer the short, on the weekends, not, when code enforcement's not here, any sworn police officer can enforce any city of Loganville ordinance. And when we met with, the city manager and the city attorney and other people, the issue that we've had and what this stopgap is for until he's able to form the food truck ordinance for you guys to look at, we have to have something cited. I can't, or any of my officers can't say, well, you can't do it because we said so. We have to have something that if they say, well, I'm gonna do it, then we have to have an ability to give them a notice of violation or issue a citation in order to make them not do it. And that's what this does until the full review of the ordinance and creation and stuff.
Let me ask you a question, I don't know if it'll be a question for Paul or you. We have a lot of the gas station places. So for a while, are y'all just gonna be going, hey, look, when they just adopted an ordinance, we have new rules, y'all need to go to City Hall, or are you gonna be giving them, I mean, how's that gonna work? Cause I mean, how are they gonna know they have to have a permit? I mean, you would think they would, but how are they gonna know?
Some
they
of
have to
them
have-
probably don't, because I'm not naive enough to believe that some of these people don't do it on the weekends specifically because they think we won't contact them. We work 24 hours a day, they'd be wrong in that. Yes, there will probably be some form of education,
Right.
to start with, because some of them just, they're not gonna know. If you guys are not, this city's changing.
Right.
And that may be on us and on our code enforcement office to.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure they get fair warning that it's
Yes, ma'am.
coming, and the only way that's gonna happen is when y'all are out there and you see them, stop and say, hey, you know,
And,
just so you
and
know.
to be honest, everybody that, when we've had to deal with it, we really haven't had a big issue. We're trying to get ahead of that so that if we do run up against, you might say, well, why can't I do it? We have to have something with legal standing that gives us authority to say, you can't do that, and if you continue to do it, here's what we're gonna do, and that's why.
Okay, thank you.
So you thinking 10-day, 30-day grace period? Is that what you're thinking?
If they catch them, they'll,
That's just officer discretion.
yeah, I was about to say, so.
You need to let the officers be the officers.
We can't dictate how they.
They don't shut them down.
We'll be as nice as we can be about it the first time.
If they'll let you.
Yes, sir.
If they'll let you.
I think a lot of this got started more so to work with people instead of against people,
Yes.
to allow them to be able to give them the avenue to do it the safe way, instead of unmarketed, you know, going out there.
Well, and I think with, you know, although code enforcement does, it's been up under the police department sometimes, it is a different outlook in the way. The goal of code enforcement is to gain compliance. And we want to, if we can do that voluntary, it's, look, I know you didn't know it's a rule, but here's a rule, here's a notice filing, you have to do it this way. Most of the time, they do comply, whatever it may be. It's rare when they don't.
You know, and I trust the department, I
Yes.
know y'all are gonna do it the most ethical way, y'all are really good people there. Should we wait to vote this in until we get to food truck ordinance? And we give them a month to be prepared?
We gotta go ahead.
I think this is a stopgap, it's not, we're having issues now.
We have to have this now.
Mhm.
Okay. I just don't wanna,
We'd be ready for Thursday morning.
It's ready now.
It's
Yeah,
ready now, we can vote on it right now.
We expedited this because your staff, particularly public safety, is asking for it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, they're getting calls and your staff is asking.
Let's just go ahead on this particular one, let's vote on this tonight, that gives chief, he can get going on this before this weekend, he can get his officers educated.
Either that or send it to people.
Well, if we do it tonight, he's ready tomorrow to move.
And I don't want to give the impression that we have run into a whole lot of uncooperative people on it. It's just, for us to enforce anything, we need something we can stand on so that we're not faced with the reality of, please don't do this, because if you continue to do it, I'm gonna say, please don't do this again. That's ineffective. So we need something that will possibly gives us that until he has time to work. You guys will have.
so now they have no avenue to be able to sell until we do get the new ordinance. So now we're gonna have
Well, they
nothing.
can.
That's
No,
not-
they-
If you're right and they don't have their
Okay, but let me qualify this.
But yeah.
Your new food truck ordinance is gonna have the same.
Same stuff.
Right, we don't have, this does not prohibit food, ready-to-eat food folks from selling in the city of Louisville. It only mandates that they provide you with proof of their Department of Environmental Health approval. And your food truck ordinance is gonna do the same thing. It's gonna actually be more, it's also gonna require
It's been a long meeting, I guess.
fire sort of inspection.
Didn't take one for.
I make the motion that we adopt the peddler's license ordinance change.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is approved.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything else, Paul?
I have nothing for you this evening, Mayor.
Do you have an executive session planned?
No.
Good, good. Okay, now comes the time of the meeting when we get the opportunity to give you time, if you choose. And each person here has an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. And, starting now, first hand shows goes first. All right, go ahead, Lee.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lee Phillips. I am co-owner of the property at 4421 Pecan Street in downtown Loganville, and may I say on the east side of Main Street. I am not Captain Obvious, but I would like to point out something that is very concerning. Property has value. Downtown property has a special value because it is what the heart of the city uses to create revenue. Right now, we have several properties that are a liability to the city. One being the retention pond. It will never create value. It will always be a liability. We have the library site, which we are locked in for the next 50 years. It will never create revenue. It will always be a liability. We have the lot at 254 Main Street, which is not generating revenue. It does not have a for sale sign up on it. And it is a huge liability because of the materials used on the construction of the sitting park that is there now. So in regard to the health department, I understand that they produce a service for the citizens, but so do all the other businesses that are in downtown Loganville. Are they gonna get exemptions from paying rent? Are they gonna get exemptions from paying taxes? Are we gonna continue to give away our property to things that will not generate income back to the citizens? Where does it end? Does it end at the point when the citizens have no more money left to contribute and have to go bankrupt because the taxes are so high they cannot afford their properties? If this is the case, then we are headed straight for socialism because it is the government that uses up what is not theirs and continually increases on the population the burden of the special projects. So I just would like y'all to think about that because all of y'all sitting here were elected as stewards of the citizens to conduct business for the best welfare of the town. If the bankroll is becoming short and you have to keep increasing the taxes on the people, where does it end? Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. I would like to share with you in Lee's comments, we have been very fortunate in Loganville since 2019, and maybe a little bit before, we have rolled back the taxes every year to where we don't get any more taxes this year than we got the year before. And we have not taken advantage of the huge increases in home appraisal. We're very fortunate to do that. Your council approved that. When this will stop is when your council decides it's time to stop. But there's more things involved in running the city than just what's the most money you can get. Sometimes you have to look at the people. Sometimes you gotta do what's the right thing for everybody, or maybe the lowest of the low on the economic scale. That's part of being a city. And you know, if Lee, if you want to talk to the city staff or to Danny about what you don't think is unsafe downtown, feel free. That's where it goes. He's the person that takes care of that. And if I see something that's unsafe, you can bet that I'm gonna bring it to Danny's attention, and we're gonna do what we can to make it safer. That's what we're here for. You don't like my rebuttal?
I can clarify and be more specific about the lot at 254 Main. The metal edging that was put up is completely unsafe and is no way would it be acceptable in any other public environment. It is a lawsuit waiting to happen, which would be another cost to the taxpayer, because y'all are gonna pay the money out. It's gonna be undisclosed because lawsuits happen, lawyers have everybody sign a non-disclosure. Nobody knows what the total settlement is or how it really affects the town, and that's the problem.
And we'll take a look at that. You're talking about the metal, around the
Edging that is around the gravel area.
landscape.
It is very, very sharp edges on the stakes that were used to go in it, and the metal itself is not compliable with public safety.
Okay. We'll have Mr. Roberts check it. By the way, your 5 minutes is up. Okay, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, this is the hardest part of the meeting. I have to do it every month. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Got one. We usually get 5 or 6. Okay, third. And we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Meeting is now adjourned. Thanks everyone for being here.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up from the City Hall and this City Council meeting this evening. Y'all remember, be safe out there, be good to one another, do something kind for someone, and y'all have a blessed day.